Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a little bit of a crazy week, so I'm sorry I haven't made a video in a few days. I actually made a few, but I didn't post them, and I'll get to that in another video. Anyway, I've been kind of in my shop here trying to rearrange stuff, make it a little more usable, and I came across this tripod mount. It was the top of my Joby, I believe that's how it's pronounced, Joby, Gorilla Pod, which are those tripods that have the three legs that are all made up of little spheres, and you can twist them and bend them however you want and pose them really good or wrap them around things to hold your camera. Really, really cool design. And it worked great. And this actually, the thing would hold my whole DSLR rig, which is really nice. But one day, the button that holds this little quick release plate got stuck and something broke inside there that wouldn't let go. So my camera was actually stuck on this dumb thing for a few days until I decided I had to break it to get my camera off. And after I broke it, it wasn't really useful for my DSLR anymore. It's not quite strong enough to even hold this video camera. It might hold a cell phone, and it'll definitely hold a GoPro. So I figured I may as well take this mount, which is, you can see it's a uniball design, so you can loosen this and, pivot this wherever you want, tighten it down, and then it stays really nice. But I figured I could take this and make a mount that I could hook onto my pegboard back here so that I could film time lapses of whatever I'm working on my workbench, or even just to film from that angle might be kind of cool. So I'm going to use this pod. I have the GoPro tripod mount, which I will attach to this, and obviously my GoPro. And I have a little bit of MDF here, just scrap, that I'm going to cut down. And I think I'm going to make this mount, I'm dropping stuff, mount here, somewhere on here. I'll probably cut this a little shorter. And then I'll either make two holes that can just hook on the pegs, or I might make two permanent pegs that stick out of here. I'm not quite sure yet. And I'll have a bolt here so that I can remove this and use it for other things if I decide I want to. But yeah, I'm going to do that real quick. Figured it'd be something I could show you guys. I don't know, probably not exciting, but it's what I'm doing today, so I may as well film it, right? So anyway, let's get to it. Alright, so this is going to be pretty simple. I want to basically put these guys together like this and have a couple spaces here where the pegs will go. Again, I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to permanently mount some pegs in here. That might be the better way to do it, but we'll see. Either way, I'm just going to drill the holes right now. This is probably a bit longer than it needs to be, so I figure the holes on the pegboard are about 1 inch apart. Let me just check really quick. They are exactly 1 inch apart, center to center. So let's see, how long is this thing now? This is about 4.5 inches long. Figure 3 inches long, two holes about 2 inches apart, so have a little bit of room here might be good. So let's mark this up and we'll cut it down really fast. Let's make it 3 inches. That'll be nice. Do the same with this one. Cheap way to line this up. I do all the markup before I cut it. I'll just cut these down in the bandsaw really fast. Let's see here. So these are 3 inches. We're going to have our hole will be at 1.5 inches. More marks than necessary, but it's the way I like to do it. I know some people will mark it a little bit differently. Now, what I'm going to do here, how tall is this? A little under 2 inches. Just guesstimate right there. So basically it'll go like that. Our center will be there. Cut off all this excess, and then we will set up some pegs. Actually, we may as well mark this whole thing up while we got it set up here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a bigger hole in the bottom here, and then a smaller hole here, so that the bolt will go all the way through this top level and stick up a little bit, but the whole head and everything will sit on the inside here, so this will be flush in the bottom. That should work nicely. So we measure up 1 inch from the bottom, 1 inch from the bottom. Okay, so that's our big hole, 4 holes, and we'll cut it here. I might even attach these and then cut it all in one shot, just because that'll be easier. Alright, so let's get to it. So let's see what size are these hooks here. On my pegboard, I'll get the larger hooks, I think. They'll be more stable in the long run. Got one here. Got one right in front of me. There we go. Alright. Make sure we got drill bits that work here. Alright, so we'll do this bit for the top bolts, and the lower one we're going to need something, just this massive one. Should cut it, that'll be fine. And then for the pegs, we're going to want, what do we got here? This is a 3/16. That's my next size up. Did I lose it? I might have lost it. Did it fall down the bottom? You know what? I got drill bits underneath. No worries. Lots of drill bits in this drawer. What is this? I don't know what size I've got here. I'm eyeballing it. This should do almost a trick, maybe a hair big. Let's go through these pegs. Yeah. Alright. Pegs, bolt, large bolt. We should be set here. You know what? I'm going to glue. No, I'm not going to glue this yet. What am I, crazy? Alright, let's head to the drill press. Got our halves here. We'll just line them up quickly. They seem sufficiently lined up, close enough. Cool. Alright, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here. I don't need a lot. Just a little bit in this area just to hold it together for the time being. Grittiness in there, don't like that. There we go. And a little bit on the back of this guy. Not that it really needs it, but it doesn't hurt. Just be sure you get a good coating. I'm going to slap these two together. Relatively level. Doesn't need to be perfect. Squish it down real nice. Make sure our holes are still pretty lined up. They're close. That's pretty good. So now, let's get my nailer here and we'll tack this sucker into place. There we go. Now it should hold it just fine. Now we will go trim off this excess on the bandsaw, then find some pins. There we go. It's about done almost. Just put some pegs and get the bolt set in there and we should be just about set. Alright, so we got our piece here. I did a quick little cleanup on the back just to get rid of little boogers that were left over from drilling this thing out. And I think that'll work pretty nice. Smooth enough. So we've got our bolt here. You can drop this thing through and it fits very nicely. Now, I don't think I'm ever going to turn this thing, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread this in here, I think. Let's see. Snug it down roughly where I want it. To be about there, I guess. Seems pretty good. That way I can put this to the top. Now I'll be able to adjust this a little bit if I need to, but that's pretty snug. It's basically the position I want. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop some Zap-A-Gap in here. This thing isn't all boogered up. Just check that. There we go. I need to change a cap on this thing pretty soon. It's getting pretty farty and old. That should be good. Alright, drop a little bit of this down in there. By a little bit, I mean a whole bunch. All around the bolt. Hit it with some kicker. And I'll solidify that. And in a moment, that should be pretty set in place. So then we'll have the bolt will be pretty much mounted in there permanently. What I'll probably do is maybe even pour a little resin in there once this thing is totally set up and I'm happy with it. Now, for the pegs, I figured these Allen keys would probably work real nice. There's a little bit larger size that actually fits in here better, but I have a pegboard over by my 3D printer that have a little bit smaller peg holes than the one that I have here at this bench. So I'm going to use this smaller size Allen key, and I'll get these in here. Let me check this really quick. Let's see how much I want to be in the wall. Alright, so it looks like I need about a little bit of a gap on the back. Maybe an 1/8 of an inch. How wide is that? What do I have that I can set in here to keep this thing straight? Oh, I'll go with this guy. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to tack this in place with some of this kicker. Make sure it works okay. And then I will load it up with a bunch of kicker and then shove some epoxy in there once it's done. This will just Zap-A-Gap, here we go. I'm going to Zap-A-Gap down the hole. And this will just kind of hold it momentarily while I sort this out. And if I need to break it free, I should be able to. That'll be good. I'm trying to make sure that it's nice and vertical. There we go. A little spritz. I'm almost off camera, guys. Sorry. I'll check that in a minute. So that's kind of in there. It's just sort of, like I said, it's just sort of tacked into place while I sort this out. If this works, then I will make a more permanent connection. So I'm using this this set of calipers here is a spacer just to make sure that they're not too close to the actual MDF. Put a drop in there. Make sure it's vertical as I can get it. Give it a little kicker. Okay. That feels like it's holding. This one is a little higher than the other. Really not a big deal because since this is adjustable, it's not going to matter a whole lot if it's super perfect. Drop a little bit more around this thing just to help for the meantime. On the back. And this is pretty much undoable. Look at my hand shaking. So now, let me peg this on the wall really quick and see if it fits the way I want it to. And it fits beautifully. So, if I can get this out without, there we go. So now that I know that it works, I'm going to take a Dremel here and my little cutting wheel. And I'm going to chop that sucker down. And put up my safety glasses, which you guys can't see, but I'm doing it. I'm going to take this off so I don't damage it. That's the side. There we go. So now we have a little bit of a mount. I could probably cut more of these and put them in the bottom. I'm not going to worry about that yet. I think for right now these two peg mounts are probably fine. The holes aren't that big. I might just be able to fill these with some of this Zap-A-Gap and fill it out. I think that'll lock it in there pretty good. This one's almost completely through. This is one of these things where it doesn't really matter if it's pretty or not. It just needs to hold my camera. So put this on here. This is adjustable. Turn this wherever we need to. Real nice and easy. We'll hook up our GoPro here. This goes in the bottom. This with a nickel. There we go. So now it mounts there. Can lock this off however we want. I can even flip it over and hang it if that's a better way to do this. And that's kind of the setup. Let's see how it pegs in. Alright, so there it is. We got a little pegboard GoPro mount. I can move around wherever I need to and videotape my bench. Really, really convenient. So let me know what you guys think. If this is a handy thing or not. Maybe you guys can improve on it. Tell me some other options that I should go with. But I think this is going to do really nicely. I might actually make a few more of these. This is going to be very handy. Maybe I'll make a light mount like this too. Safety glasses on. Let me zoom out. Alright, anyway guys, thanks for stopping by, and I'll be back soon. I'm going to start that Stormtrooper build soon, and a dozen other things. Plus, some other videos that I may post in the next few days that I took in the last week. I don't know if they're worth looking at. We'll see. See you guys soon. Bye!